Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the National Property Fund Limited that as at date, substantially all the clients of the former BAI have been repaid. For the super cashback goal, out of 5,035 policyholders, 4,964 have been paid for a total of 5,011,159,183, representing 98.5% of the total number of policy holders. With regard to the Brahma Asset Management Limited, out of a total of 320 investors, 298 have been paid for an amount of 875,956,190, representing 93% of the total number of investors. As far as entities are concerned, 110 out of 132 have been repaid for a total amount of 298,027,839 rupees, representing 83% of the total entities. Madam Speaker, all the way through, this government has protected the interests of our country and our people. We have successfully resolved this crisis, which could have resulted in a national tragedy. As a people government, we are satisfied to have saved so many people from disaster and to have avoided a systemic crash of our whole financial system. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, 71 super cashback gold policyholders and 21 Brahma Asset Management Limited investors have not turned up to complete formalities to enable disbursement of funds. One super cashback gold policyholder as well as one investor of Brahma Asset Management Limited have not submitted the required information and will be refunded once all documents are complete. Moreover, formalities for repayment in respect of 2 entities are being completed, while 20 of them have not yet turned up for registration to enable repayment. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed by the NPFL that the initial deadline to complete registration for repayment was 31st August 2017. Following several requests received from the policyholders and investors, the NPFL board exceptionally decided to reopen the registration process on 12 February 2018 until 9th March. I'm further advised that should any policyholder investor still turn up to complete all required procedures, consideration will be given for settlement repayment on a case-to-case basis. Madam Speaker, as regard to Part B of the question, I'm further informed that the repayment exercise was possible owing to funds made available from the partial disposal of assets by the Special Administrator and also from the following institutions: the Bank of Mauritius, the SBM NFC Holdings Limited, and the State Insurance Company of Mauritius Limited, a syndicate comprising of SBM Limited, the MCB Limited, Barclays Bank Mauritius Limited, and Mobank Limited. Madam Speaker, I am advised that the terms and conditions under which funds have been made available to the NPFL are privy to the contractual parties, as it is a public company governed by the Companies Act. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part C of the question, I am informed that most of the on-balance sheet assets of the NPFL appear to have been inflated, which has so far caused that no serious offers have been received for their disposal. An exercise is currently being undertaken by NPFL to reassess the fair market value of those assets. Madam Speaker, alongside the exercise, the board of NPFL is assiduously working to turn around the company by reviewing its business model and devising new strategic options. NPFL can be empowered to act as a service provider of choice in the field of property management and development, particularly for state-owned companies, parastatal bodies, and the private sector alike. This can be done in the first instance by maintaining strategic assets and disposing of non-strategic ones. However, I would like to state that a decision is yet to be taken on this specific matter. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Speaker, answering to past PQ asked by myself last year, that is on 28th of March, exactly 1 year, the PQB 32, the Honourable Minister answered, and I quote, officials of my ministry and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development are looking into the exit strategy which government will adopt with regard to NIC and possibly Mobank Holdings Limited, with a view to meeting the future commitments for the payment of super cashback gold policy holders, unquote. Therefore, Madam Speaker, can I ask the Honourable Minister where matters stand in relation to this decision of his ministry and Ministry of Finance? What sum are we talking about for NIC and Mobank?
Madam Speaker, I can only answer for my ministry, which means NIC. The strategy being considered is still on, and I can say that there have been certain progress which has been made, but this is not the only strategy that we are looking at. As I explained in my answer a minute before, there are various options which are being explored, and we hope to come to the National Assembly once we have a clear-cut decision have been taken.
Can somebody with the phone go out, please? Yes.
Madam Speaker, we all recall that at the start of this saga, government stated that no public funds will be used to repay BAI debts. But the Honourable Minister, in his reply, stated that the Bank of Mauritius, if I get the figures right, there has been a borrowing to the Bank of Mauritius of almost 4 billion rupees. May I ask the Honourable Minister, in relation to this sum, whether this has been repaid, and if not, how will this sum be repaid?
Yes, in fact, as I mentioned in my answer, the repayment to the policyholders and investors were made possible due to advances and loans that we received from various institutions, including the Bank of Mauritius, and it has not been repaid so far. Given the magnitude of the crisis, the amount of money involved, no one could have generated so much money out of selling the assets overnight. So there should have been some kind of a mechanism, like a bridging loan, to be able to alleviate the plight of so many policyholders, so many investors who are crying outside for money for their investment. Government, as a caring government, took that decision to find a solution, and we made a proposal to the policyholders, investors, which have been accepted by them. And as I mentioned, nearly 100% have been settled so far.
Madam Speaker, in his reply, the Honourable Minister stated that last year there was an exit strategy for NIC and Mobank. But this year, the government is considering other avenues. May I ask the Honourable Minister, what are these other avenues?
The other avenues concerns mainly any other revenue generation option that the NPFL can use to generate revenue in the future, to provide services, to manage the assets in a better way where more revenue can be generated in the future. At the same time, exiting non-strategic business, as I mentioned. So it concerns a panoply of measures which NPFL will have to adopt to be able to generate income so as to be able to repay the debt which it has contracted.
Next question.
Has government guaranteed those 6 billion rupees to the commercial banks and that 3.5 billion rupee to the Bank of Mauritius? Has government guaranteed those sums?
As I mentioned, Madam Speaker, NPFL being a company governed by the Companies Act, all the terms and conditions which have been agreed between the banks and NPFL cannot be disclosed.
Honorable Amir, next question.